Today on the reference desk, East meets West with some Shaolin funk. Welcome to the Reference Desk, a feature dedicated to shining a light on singles of note, albums of particular interest, and artists that are just worth talking about. My name's Andrew Baldock, and today I've pulled out two albums. Both are collaborations between acclaimed virtuoso guzheng player and composer Bei He and American multi-instrumentalist, producer, and video game score composer Shawn Lee. Together, these two musicians blended the very different genres of traditional Chinese music and the funk. So let's talk about just who these two very different musicians are. Firstly, Shawn Lee began his music career playing drums for the gospel choir of his local Baptist church in Wichita, Kansas. There, he broke away from the cheesy corporate rock and line dancing sensibilities of his peer group and found his love for funk, soul, and R&B. After some racially charged disagreements with the aforementioned peer group, Lee decided it was time to get out of Dodge and head to the big city. After relocating to LA, Lee mostly focused on building up a body of work, playing with various bands, production collaborations, tours, and a number of different day jobs. LA eventually proved to be not quite the scene he was after, so he packed up and moved to London. After some failures and some successes, most notably becoming the most sampled drummer of his generation, thanks to his involvement in the Planet of the Breaks sample collection, Lee finally got his big solo break with Wall of Sound Records. Since then, Shawn Lee has put out a whopping 25 albums and has done soundtrack work for rock stars Bully and The Getaway, as well as a few film scores. Speaking of film scores, Bei, also known as Bei He or Bei Monter, is a very accomplished studio musician and includes under her belt the 2020 Mulan soundtrack, Battlestar Galactica, and Mysteries of Ancient China. She's worked with Christina Aguilera, Dream, Jessica Fischio, and contributed music to the Age of Empires video game series. Unlike Shawn Lee's wide range of instrumental proficiencies, Bei is a specialist. She's a virtuoso guzheng player. The guzheng belongs to the long zither family of instruments, which includes the Japanese koto, the Korean gyeogun, and the Mongolian yatug. Pardon my pronunciation. She fell in love with the instrument at first sight and began playing at the young age of 7 years old. Her passion followed her into adulthood, and she majored in the guzheng at UCN Beijing and the Hong Kong Academy of the Arts. Now located in LA, Bei continued her musical education at several California post-secondaries and is now the director of her own music school, Lotus Bud Guzheng Academy. So let's get into the collab, shall we? Bei and Shawn Lee have done two albums together. The first is titled Into the Wind, and the second, Year of the Funky. Both albums are fantastic showcases for both musicians' dramatic soundtrack styles of music. Songs like Into the Wind, Whiskey Waltz, Soft Dream, and For Your Smile all feel like they would be right at home in some Chinese-flavored original film soundtrack. And while the guzheng may not be your first thought when you think dance music, don't underestimate the funk prowess of Shawn Lee or Bebe's extensive musical education. Numerous songs on both albums, but particularly Year of the Funky, have absolutely infectious tunes. The most notable thing about Into the Wind and Year of the Funky are that they don't really resemble other titles you'd call Asian fusion, where often the Asian musical elements are more or less tacked on as a sort of gimmick rather than the main course. These two works are a masterful genre-bending experience, with the funk and soul grooves uplifting and supporting the guzheng melodies, and the guzheng following along when those grooves really dig themselves into your ear. Unfortunately, Shawn Lee and Bebe both appear to be the kind of musicians that are always looking ahead to their next projects. There doesn't seem to be any interviews to be found online of the artists specifically talking about their experiences making these two albums, beyond a simple mention that they, well, made the albums. So we'll have to call the episode at that. If you dig this grooved up style of traditional Chinese music, take a look into Shawn Lee's Ping Pong Orchestra, where he's grooved up other styles of traditional ethnic music, classical, and even his own version of radio hits we all hear day in, day out. Keep your ears peeled, you never know when the reference desk will be hitting you next.